Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across the planet, around the world. My name is Gregg Prescott from in5d.com. Today's topic is, remind me again, why did I incarnate into this shithole? And I don't care what the YouTube censors say about that word. You know, I know everyone listening to this podcast has been through a lot. You know, this is one of the reasons why I have this platform. I want to hear your story. Everyone's got amazing stories. Yeah, plural, stories to tell. And I encourage you to join in on your storytelling here and share with us your stories. Now, while people are filing in, I'm going to copy down the Zoom address from Facebook, and I'll post it in the YouTube live chat right now. And thank you to the people who have already liked this video. On YouTube. And we'll get started here in a brief second. I'm just copying that address down right now. And there you go. Wet my whistle. So, did you ever wonder why you decided to incarnate into these lower vibrations of the third density? I'm thinking, you know, I've had stage 3 cancer, which is, once it hits stage 3, it's usually terminal, but I made it through that. Made it through a car accident where, if my father didn't give me his car, I was driving this Nissan Sentra rust bucket at the time. That's what I called it. You could actually see through the floorboard, but my father retired and gave me his car and saved my life by doing that back in the early 1990s. Had a heart attack last year, still here. It's almost as if, you know, I wonder. Yeah, one thing I don't fear is death, right? When I was a kid, that was the number one thing I did fear, dying. But honestly, you know, somebody once said one of the most profound things I've ever heard: once the sperm fertilizes the egg, you begin the dying process. You were alive before that. And it's so true. There's nothing to fear in death and dying. But when I was younger, that was probably the one thing I feared. And I don't know if it was almost like a premonition, knowing I'm going to have these things come into my life, perhaps that I agreed upon in my soul contract. And we'll get into soul contracts a little later on. But things that I agreed upon, such as that car accident, such as having the cancer or the heart attack. I remember when I had the cancer, I was diagnosed with the stage 3 cancer on my back. My daughter was really young at the time. And what I planned on doing was buying a card for every one of her birthdays until she was like 30, and every one of her Christmases and every holiday, and even including for that time when she was going to get married down the road, and reading each one and having it recorded, and then, you know, give all the copies of the recordings to my ex-wife, her mother, on whenever those days would come around, you know. And so she'd just pop the DVD in, And it would be of me with the card that she was given for that particular occasion, birthday, holiday, whatever, me reading the card to her. Even so, she would know that even in death and after death, I was still thinking about her and that I loved her. But fortunately, I made it through that. And, I've talked to her about that, and she has obviously half of my genetics. So, she might be prone to cancer as well. She might be prone to having a heart attack, stuff like that, and you wonder, why do we agree to come here? Despite all that, there's got to be a much greater reason. So I'm just going to check out YouTube real quick. Are you guys hearing me okay? Scotty Boy says the number one cause of death in this reality is birth. How true is that? Okay, that's good. You guys can hear. I know a couple days ago I had a recording, and I think my volume was up a little too loud, and I've got it set on automatic right now, so it should be a good sound that we have. But it just seems that everything that we do or experience in this world involves some sort of suffering. Why would we agree to come here just to suffer, I mean, something even as simple as going out for pizza, right? All right, you know that the dough is made with GMO or GMO flour, wheat, gluten, processed cheese. The tomatoes are probably GMO tomatoes that are in the sauce. We're poisoning ourselves. And not only that, we're willingly paying to do that, because you got to pay for the exchange of energy. I want the energy of this poison pizza, so here's $3 or whatever. This isn't the way it was supposed to be. Do you guys feel like this was supposed to be something much greater, and that maybe we were tricked in coming here? And it's not as much as being tricked either. I know many of us, as what Dolores Cannon said, many of us heard the call, and knowing, because many of us have been here before, knowing despite what this is all about, we still came here, right? Boy, are we gluttons for punishment? What's wrong with us? But here we are. And ultimately, it's really not as bad as what it seems. If you were to pay attention to what the news is putting out there, you'd think that this world is going to hell in a handbasket. It's not that way. Don't believe that. That isn't real. Nothing you see on TV is real. That's just a bunch of pixels, and that's it. I'd recommend not even watching TV, and I think most of you do a pretty good job of avoiding watching TV, and that's a good thing. But when we agreed to come here, when we heard that call, the beckoning of Earth was in trouble. We had to come. And when we got here, we forgot a lot of things. We forgot what it was like to forget, to have our memories and our past lives erased. Unfortunately, many of us can recall some past lives, 1, 2, more or more. I know of 3 of my past lives. I put out, there's an article on N5D. I told people, I think on the last video, I have an MP3 where you can, you listen to this MP3 at night as you're about to go to bed, and it triggers a past life that you've had in your dreams. So all you got to do is go to in5d.com, go to the search bar and just type in MP3. That's all you got to do. And it should be the first result that comes up in your search results. And, 100% free. So try it out, see what you get. As far as I can tell, my last past life was as a Mayan. I think I was in Belize, in that area. And I was an old man, but it was during the Spanish Inquisition, and they threatened to kill me if I didn't convert to Christianity. And I lied to them and I said I would. And I didn't. I just passed my knowledge on to the children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And it's probably why I came in with a predisposition to organized religion. Now, don't get me wrong. My parents are Christian. I was raised Methodist. I'm not religious at all now. I don't believe in giving my power away to anyone other than myself or my higher self or source, giving it back to source. The Hopi are correct when they said, you are the light at the end of the tunnel, basically. We are the ones that we have been waiting for, is what they said, but you can almost turn it around into that. You are the light at the end of the tunnel. We are the light at the end of the tunnel. We are the ones we have been waiting for. It's ridiculous to give that energy away. And despite, not being Christian, I've survived the car accident. I made it through stage 3 cancer 13 years ago. Made it through a heart attack. Still here without organized religion, without Jesus, without any deity or savior other than myself. And it makes you wonder, why am I here? Why do I keep, sometimes you almost wonder in the opposite direction, are they just keeping me here so they can continue to drain my battery? Because I'm just like you and everyone listening right now, you are very high-powered vibrational beings, much more than the average person who's had that lifeblood, their loosh, basically sucked out of them. But here we are, we're doing our work. We're staying centered, we're staying grounded. We're building that chi, that inner light. And it makes you wonder, are they keeping us here just so they can milk that a little bit more? But I don't think so. I think there's a much greater reason, and it's for a positive reason. As for myself, I've seen the event. I've witnessed it. I felt it. I think that's why I'm here, to continue to put that message out there. The event is when this white light floods the planet and you're bathed in unconditional love to a magnitude you've never felt, ever. The example I use is my daughter, the one person that I love the most, more than anything else. And I love so many people on this planet too, my parents, my sisters. But when you have a child, it goes to another level. And she's the one thing I love more than anything else on this planet. But as much as I love her, the love that you feel when the event happens is at least 1 million more times the love of that of which you love anything or have loved anything. We've never physically experienced that kind of love in this third dimensional reality. It'd be impossible. It's so much love. It's when you feel that much love, nothing else matters. Money, government, religion, politics, none of that. Nothing. None of that matters. Doesn't even matter whether you have a physical body or not. And that's one thing I don't remember. When that flash happened, I don't remember whether my body was physical. I think it was. Because I remember seeing myself, I was like watching myself in front of, it's a weird way of saying it, but I was kind of like watching myself in front of myself, right? and the white light hits. And then the next thing I knew, all I could feel was that unconditional love. And I don't remember if I saw my body at that point or not. It didn't matter. Does it matter when you feel that kind of love? Would it matter? I don't think so. In YouTube, Witchy Vibes is saying you described that the way I envisioned it. It's interesting because I spoke to a woman. I had an in5D beach meetup a couple of years ago. And there was a woman there, and I believe she's a nurse, a registered nurse. And she had a near-death experience. And when I have my beach meetups, I bring a portable speaker and a microphone. We can pass the microphone around. And so she was talking, and she's telling our group about her near-death experience. And she crosses over on the other side and was shown this reality of what we're about to experience, which was the 5D Earth, the new Earth, whatever you want to call it. But she explained the feeling almost exactly how I explained it. Imagine that thing that you love more than anything else and just magnify it to a point where you really can't understand how much love you're going to feel until you actually feel it. And I only felt that and saw that and envisioned it for maybe a few seconds, 3-4 seconds. But it was just so amazing. It jolted me out of my vision of this. And here I was back, good old 3D. What she said, though, was almost identical to what I've said. I remember a few years ago, I think it was back in 2014, I had this dream of 3 tidal waves. And it's not what you think. It's not like, so for those of you who haven't heard this dream, I'll tell it quickly. I go off to the beach and I'm walking towards the water. I look up and I see this huge tidal wave coming toward me. So I'm like, oh, I turn around and I'm like going in the other direction away from it. And I see a beach house and I go in the beach house and the water washes over this beach house that I was in. But yet while I was in the beach house, I could stick my hand through the window and touch the water. So the water goes over the house and then it goes back again. And I get out and I start walking back to the beach and I look up and another one is coming towards me. And this one's much bigger than the first one. So I go back to the beach house and I look back in the other direction. Another one is coming from the opposite direction. So they were going to meet to get together. And I go into the beach house and, water goes over, and once again, I could stick my hand through the window and touch the water, but I was safe. And not at any point of either of these, any of these tidal waves did I feel scared. There was no panic, no scared, no feelings of fear whatsoever. So I get out of the house after the water washes back on the second and third tidal wave. And I get out of the house and I remembered at that point that I had left my truck, which I don't own a truck. I had left my truck at the top of this mountain, and there's no mountains here in Sarasota. So I go up the mountain, I ascend, right? And this is a dream, and all these metaphors have meanings. I have an article on N5D, the top 40 dream interpretations that I highly recommend you check out. But I go up to the top of that mountain and the energy had changed. It was this feeling of peace and unconditional love after these tidal waves washed over. So as many of you know, my background is I was a child and family therapist for at-risk youth. My major in college was psychology. I took the psychology of sleep and dreams, which led me to write that article about the top 40 dream symbols and metaphors, because things have changed. If you buy a book, they're not going to tell you what I tell you in that article. They're not taking it to the metaphysical level. So what does that dream of the 3 tidal waves mean? Well, water is immutable energy. It could be solid, liquid, gas, it could be frozen, ice, whatever. And if you think of water, you can think of it as being waves, as in waves of energy, which that's what they are. But it could be the different kinds of energy, like Schumann resonance waves, the energy like that. But that's all it was. There's 3 huge waves of energy that are coming. The first one will precede the next 2. And you'll know when this is about to happen, when those 2 energy waves collide. So there's going to be a preceding wave that will come before the event. And when those 2 waves come together, that brings on that flash, the white flash, the flash that covers the planet, that brings us that unconditional love. That's what I believe. Now, I've noticed that when you get right, when you clear yourself, when you do your work, your inner work, you'll find that your dreams, you're no longer thinking about the crap that most people dream about, right? Most people dream about stuff that they're just working out through metaphor, what's gone on throughout their day. And a lot of it can be stress related. The one of the examples that my teacher, he's no longer with us, Dr. Rainville, but one of the examples he gave was, if you have a really stressful job, you might see in a dream through metaphor this huge tire rolling toward you, and it's about to roll over you, and you're just like, that's stress and just metaphor playing that out. But when you do your spiritual work and you're grounded, your dreams are either mundane, like you might be just walking your dog, or a dog. You might not even own a dog, but you're just walking a dog. Or futuristic, premoninistic. So that's what happens with me a lot. I see things in my dreams that haven't happened yet. And, you can go to in 5D as well. And I teach you, I think the article's called "Do This Before You Go to Sleep or Go to Bed." And it shows you how to open up your third eye. But getting back to what I was saying about the dreams and the metaphors, they've changed. And that's what I write about in that article. For example, in typical dream analysis, if you're climbing up a ladder, it means that you're in for a promotion, perhaps. You're might get a raise. Things are looking up, right? But in the new dream analysis of, what other people aren't covering that I put in that article, it means number one, it's ascension. You are moving up. It's an ascension dream. And number 2, when you look at DNA, you got the helixes, and the strands in between. That's the ladder you're dreaming about. It's more than just a ladder. It's DNA. And here's the perfect example. Had this dream where I'm standing in the foundation of a house. And the only thing that was there at that point was like cinder blocks. And it was maybe 3 of the walls had cinder blocks on them. And I was in the house, and there was 3 ladders there. There's one on my left, which my left foot was on, and one on my right foot was on, and I was straddling the ladder that was in between me. And it just seemed, most people would look at that dream thinking, well, that's, okay, so you had a dream. Maybe you're going to build a house. No, it's much more than that. I actually felt like this was a dream for humanity. It was a message for everyone. That was the new earth being built. That was the foundation. We're laying the foundation. This was back, gosh, it might have been 10 years ago that I had this dream. Back when we were all doing this work, getting us to where we are now and to where we will be. But we were building the foundation of the new earth even back then. And many of us are doing that at night in our dreams. We're doing so many things on a multi-dimensional level. But that dream was we were building the foundation for the new earth. And what it was showing me was that there's going to be at least 3 strands of DNA. It couldn't show me that we're going to a 12-strand DNA. I couldn't envision in my dream seeing my legs straddling 12 ladders, right? But our DNA is going to get upgraded. That's what I got out of that dream. So, very exciting dream. You just have to know how to look at your dreams in a different light. The dream interpretations have changed. Just check out YouTube real quick. And Area is saying, been so freaking crazy last few days. The grid has changed. The physics seem so different now, and everything's higher. Everything's higher definition. Thank you, Andrea. Looking younger every time I see you. That's funny. Yeah, you wouldn't guess I'm turning 60 this year, right? Now I'm going to check out Zoom. Ariana saying there was fine print on the soul contract I signed. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head on that one, Ariana, definitely. Mary Andromeda, Marianne is here with us again. Hi, Greg, glad to be here. Just returned from the dentist. Numb and difficult to speak tonight. I had a white light experience also. Awesome. Slightly different from yours, but similar. Sweet. I'm going to unmute you guys real quick on Zoom. And if anyone wants to join me, jump right in right now. Yeah. You guys are all unmuted. I know, Mary, you want to speak, but you're like
I can't.
numb and difficult. Yeah. But you'll have to tell us about that dream when you're able to talk a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah. And I wish you a fast healing.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And once again, I've got a bunch of people here on Zoom, and I'll put the link on YouTube in the chat if you want to join us here. I highly encourage people to share their thoughts, because no matter how out there you might think your thoughts are, they're not to the rest of us. No one's going to laugh at your thoughts and feelings. We get it. And I guarantee when other people hear your story, somebody else is going to say, yeah, that happened to me too. So that's why it's so important for everybody to get their thoughts and feelings out there. When we were back on the other side with Source, life seemed so easy. We had the answers to all universal questions and lived in the complete vibration of love. There was no dissension, hatred, ego, or financial concerns, just love. So if everything was perfect, why would we want to leave? What was wrong with us? What were we thinking? You know, you're living in a period without time. There's no illnesses. You don't have to sleep. Total unconditional love everywhere. That must have been one heck of a beacon to bring us here. This one call, heck of a call from Mother Earth to say, hey, I need help. I need you here. You and you and you and everyone that's listening right now. We all got that call, and here we are. People that have had a near-death experience, they explain when they go over to the other side, they're back in that love of creator, source, universe. They don't want to come back, even when they have loved ones and family and children here. They don't want to come back when they're on the other side. So many of them have said, it's like walking in molasses down there. I don't want to go back. And now that we're here walking in that molasses, we totally understand what they're saying. After being in this vibration for many years, you forgot what it was like to live in a third dimensional vibration. Yet you were fortunate enough to have been here in at least one other previous incarnation. And you remembered how your spiritual progression was raised exponentially by being in a world of duality. So that is one of the reasons why we came here, to experience that duality, to experience, when all you feel is that unconditional love, right? Because you have no time either, but what would be perceived in third dimensional time as being millennia, and you forgot what it was like to, okay, there's dissension going on here. Can I help? Most of us are service to others people. We want to help. We want to help others. And when you're on the other side, you're really not helping other people. You're still working on your spiritual progression. You're learning things that'll bring you up higher and higher on the other side of the veil, but you're not getting those important lessons of what we're learning here in this third dimensional reality. We're able to affect so many other people on a positive level, despite all the crap, despite the ordo ab chaos, the order out of chaos that's going on around us. We can still make a positive impact on other people. You forgot probably too what it was like to do simple things that we do here on this planet, food, relationships, certain things that, on the other side, you don't need to eat. You probably aren't having the physical kind of relationships that we have here in third dimensional reality. You can take that as far as you want to go. I'm probably going to get censored if I say anything more than that. But certain things that we forgot about. Maybe we wanted to experience what a great meal tasted like, or what it would be like to prepare a great meal for somebody else, or to build something for somebody else. You're thinking, I want to help other people. And because Earth has this call right now, I got to come down and I got to help. And that's what we're doing. So you swore to yourself that this time you would not allow lower third dimensional vibrations to bring you down. You planned on bringing back the vibration of love with you to this planet, but your memories of being with Source were once again wiped from your immediate memories as this third dimensional brainwashing began yet again. And we have been brainwashed, literally. I mean, from the moment we go to school with public indoctrination, you go through school, and if you're, I can't say fortunate enough because it's not being fortunate, you may end up going to college where you might get a liberal arts degree, which is worthless. Further indoctrination. I find that it seems like most people, not all people, of course, but most people that have the college education are severely, severely brainwashed. They bought the liberal Kool-Aid like it was BOGO, buy one, get one free. And they stand by this further indoctrination that they had because they have the college degree. They know more than we do. And I put myself in that category of that we do. I have a master's degree. And yeah, when I write articles, I put MS at the end of my name, Masters of Science, only because it gives our genre validity, especially coming from a child and family therapist where, probably, if I told a psychiatrist that, some of the things that I've told you guys, they'd want to lock me up. But I know that's not the case, and that you guys understand as well. The whole indoctrination system is part of the distraction, television, cell phones, work, money. I mean, slavery never ended. We're all economic slaves to the almighty dollar. This isn't the way it was supposed to be. And everything is distracting us from who we are and what we're supposed to be. Well, not all of us. I mean, you guys are here knowing that this is part of your path. And, just bringing family together, whether, you're making contacts in YouTube in the chat, or here on Zoom, or with one another watching the recorded version and just commenting about this video or sharing it with other people. This is how we're all connecting with one another. We're bringing that family together. And this is what we do. So it's all about soul family. But we've been brainwashed beyond belief. And if you don't think so, you're lying to yourself. Everyone's gone through it, and it's horrible. Absolutely. From birth, you were indoctrinated into a system that promotes subservience, control, and conformity. You always felt cognitive dissonance over this, but weren't sure why. It seemed like everyone else was conforming to this system, and this is the way it was supposed to be. You attended school and sometimes caught yourself daydreaming, as if your higher self was telling you a formal education is not what's important in life. As a child, you were taught how to play sports and learned aggressive, self-serving behaviors that only reinforced the divide and conquer mentality that's forced upon us by our societal expectations. And when you think about that, like sports, the whole divide and conquer thing, my tribe against your tribe. I still watch football. I used to be one of the world's biggest sports fanatics before my awakening. And afterwards, I just watch football, but I see it in a completely different light. My favorite team is the Kansas City Chiefs. In the past, I would have said my team is the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not my team. I don't care what they do and how well they're performing. It's great. Yeah, it's great when they're doing well. It's fun to watch. It's entertainment. It is a distraction. But for me, sometimes I need a distraction. I think everyone's kind of like that. When you're putting so much time and energy in one direction, you just need a break. You need a break, and you go off in a different direction for a little while. And that's what the NFL football does for me. But it's all divide and conquer. It really is. It's order ab chaos. For example, if my favorite football team, the Kansas City Chiefs, were playing the Dallas Cowboys. What is that really saying? It's my tribe against your tribe, the Cowboys against the Indians. Look at the names of many of these professional sports teams, at least here in America. The Giants, the New York Giants, the Tennessee Titans, the Anaheim Angels, the New Jersey Devils. I mean, it's right in front of us. It's right in front of us. The Giants, really? Really? So are you talking about the Elohim, the Nephilim, the Anunnaki? It's right there. It's funny too when you talk to a diehard sports fan and they go something like, "I can't believe we lost that game. We lost that game yesterday." And I'm thinking, what part of that game, what part of we lost that game? Did you actually play that game? Are they paying you a salary, to be a fan of theirs? It's actually the other way around, where we're paying their $1 million salaries to distract us. How crazy is that? It's insane. On YouTube, Jeannie's saying they throw it in our face. That's true. Giants of industry. You were pacified with mundane television programs that not only took you further away from who you truly are, but helped to influence what you thought, wore, ate, drank, etc. As you grew older, you started to discover how corrupt this system has become on Earth, not only in your home country, but all over this planet. You began to seek answers to questions that are not taught in school, such as, what are the origins of human existence, which we covered in our last video? And why are there so many opposing religions when there's only one source? You became trapped in a system that relies on monetary success in order to survive, making you an economic slave to the few that control the many. Unknowingly, you became part of that system. Part of that system involves, in a huge way, television. The brainwashing that goes on. I mean, just the simple act of turning on your television, those waves that come out, put you in that hypnotic trance within seconds. It's crazy. Within seconds, you're in that hypnotic stance where they could tell you anything and you're either going to accept it, believe it, buy whatever they're selling you. There's subliminal messages that are still going out there as well. They say that, that's been outlawed and it's no longer legal to do, but you can rest assured that they're still doing it through symbolism. Guaranteed. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's beyond symbolism as well. It's the whole MK Ultra program, that they have these little sleeper cells all over the place. What happens is the big pharma has been over medicating lots of people with psychotropic drugs. Within these psychotropic drugs, there are nanobots where basically turns them crazy into programmed MK Ultra slaves, and they'll hear the little voices in their heads and they'll go out and do what they're ever commanded to do. And they'll be the ones that are watching that stupid TV that I have, that I watch football on. So yeah, slavery never ended. We're all slaves. This We all have to pay bills, but while we're here, we're going to make this the best friggin' ride we've ever had, despite all these friggin' distractions. Because we know what's coming. We know what's at the end of the tunnel. We know that we've already won. But man, it gets hard. This path is not easy. You know, in the past year, I have no relationship. I lost my dog, had a heart attack, had to move. It's been a rough year. It's been rough. And I know that every day I'm going to end up on top, and every day it gets a little bit better and a little bit easier. But it's still a challenge. You know, there's some days I wake up and I can feel pressure in my chest area or near my heart. But ever since I started juicing every day, my blood pressure's gone down, my blood sugar's gone down, and I'm heading in the right direction. The messages that we have, that we keep getting, are what helps keep us here in this third dimension. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing while we're still here. You know, I keep getting these visions and dreams of positive outcomes, positive realities for humanity. And it's important that we put them out there, that we share them with each other, because as I've mentioned, with these dreams that I've had and these visions that I've gotten, other people are having them as well. And that's why it's so important that we have forums like this, whether, you know, it's people making comments in the chat section or below the video or underneath the article on N5D or whatever, that people are making comments, that we are contributing to this conversation and reinforcing each other's beliefs, as well as putting that energy into manifesting what it is we want to bring to us. That's already happened, in my opinion. So why did I decide to incarnate into this shithole? Every one of these situations that we talked about gave us a chance to learn and grow spiritually. For a while, you simply forgot how these challenges would benefit you. You knew that at some point in this incarnation, you would awaken to find your true self, along with the purpose for being here. It seemed so easy on the other side when we were back with Source. You wanted to make millions and millions of soul contracts because they all seem so easy to achieve while you are in the presence of Source. Instead, you listened to Source and ended up making thousands of soul contracts, which all seemed achievable in this lifetime. Some of these soul contracts involved people who you would only meet for a brief minute, but somehow they changed your life, or you changed theirs. They helped to lead you back to your path of enlightenment, or vice versa. Now, in regard to these soul contracts, when you were on the other side of the veil, you knew literally millions and millions of people throughout all of your incarnations, and all the people you've met. You know every one of them by name personally. And you made millions of soul contracts with each one of them, because you thought, when you're on the other side of the veil, anything's possible. I can do this. Piece of cake, millions. What? Give me a trillion. I can handle that. And we get here and we forgot that our memory got wiped, and we don't recognize all these people that we made soul contracts with. But on a higher level, you do recognize these people. For example, have you ever been, you know, if you have a car, have you ever been driving and you let somebody into traffic? It might be something as simple as that. You might have at some point on a higher level, when you were making your soul contract with that person, said, if our paths ever cross, remember me. So there's a person that needs to get out in traffic. You just wave them on and you don't think twice about it. On a higher level, you already knew that person. And that might be the only time your paths literally cross. But it happened. because while you might not personally ever meet these people in those kind of situations, you were best friends with them on the other side of the veil. You might, go to a grocery store, bump into somebody, and make a small have a small conversation with that person. That's yet another person on your soul contracts that you agree to meet with, the cashier that you have an exchange with. Once again, same thing. Did you ever see someone for the first time and just know that you've known this person from somewhere? How do I know you? That kind of thing. Chances are you did know this person when you were back with Source on the other side of the veil. That's that familiarity that we have when you feel that with somebody else. Don't I know you from somewhere? Chances are many of you already know me or knew me before you ever saw me, or you saw a video that I had or something, and you're like, I know him, just like I know you. You also wanted to come back to be part of the Great Awakening and the shift in consciousness. We're at a point in time where our planet is completing a 26,000 year cycle called the precession of the equinoxes. We're also at the end of the greatest cycle in which our solar system has completed its revolution around the sun and its sun in Sirius. And you said to yourself, there's no way I'm going to miss out on this, being here for the end of that cycle. Besides, you forgot what it was like to experience duality and polarity. In the end, this shithole has been an amazing experience filled with an abundance of opportunities for spiritual growth. If you willingly decided to come back here in another incarnation, be sure to check out in 5D and read this article and watch this video. Because you're going to say, oh yeah, now it's all coming back to me. But hopefully, anyone that's watching or listening isn't going to have to come back to a third dimensional reality like this, and that we're all going to someplace much greater, like with what I explained about the event. Now I'm going to unmute. Everybody is unmuted in Zoom. Do you have any comments you'd like to say? Anything that's on your minds right now? You can speak up. You are all unmuted. Don't be shy. And if there's anything that anyone wants to ask in the YouTube chat room, feel free to ask away. Otherwise, we'll probably be ending this here real soon. We have a lot of people watching on YouTube. Oh, someone's saying the Zoom address that I gave in YouTube is invalid? Huh. Let me check that again. Well, that's the one I have. I don't know what I've been giving. Try that one that I just put in there. Because I just tried that one and it worked for me. What'll happen is you have to basically download some kind of Zoom software, which allows you to enter this form that we have here on Zoom. So just want to remind people too, these t-shirts are for sale on in5d.net. They're like magical t-shirts that give people amazing dreams because I put that siesta key sand into all the dye on these shirts. So you can check that out at n5d.net. Also on Patreon, we have different levels there, but anyone that's on the 555 or higher level, we have a private chat that goes on the first Wednesday of every month, where it's an insiders club. There's nothing else that whatever we say there stays there. Okay. Unless it's really important information. And I get the permission of somebody, whoever said whatever it is, to put it out here in the public and YouTube or whatever. But, it's also, if you're introverted and don't want to speak in front of a lot of people, whatever, things like that, it's a great place for people to meet as well. But, I'm going to be doing things. I'll be doing these kind of chats on various topics all throughout every month. And I encourage people to join in and get their thoughts out there. And I see you made it. Okay. Hang on. Monica, you were the one that was asking about the link, correct? Hang on. Okay, you are unmuted. Hi, Monica. Hi. So you were able to use this link. This link worked.
Okay, I had to install Zoom.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I am on the same wavelength as you, experiencing these symptoms of ascension, and a lot of things are coming up right now, especially, the darkness is coming out. So I think it's really important that we shed some light on some of these issues that especially light workers are experiencing, because how else can we heal and find solutions if we don't have maybe a common idea of what the problem is? And many people are saying, like, this is a school, and like you said, there was a contract signed to be here. But I just want to establish, a platform for everyone to kind of put their ideas in on how to deal with these heavy energies, what we can do to stay strong and uplift each other, because we're going through a lot. And that may be financial things for some people, that may be relationships. I think one cause to this is specifically that there's a spiritual war going on, and that many people who are of a higher frequency, they're being suppressed through many things. And it could be that there's an artificial intelligence that picks up on our thoughts and our vulnerabilities. So I think one of the things is to be in your higher self, to connect with your higher self, to remember who you are and why you're here, and really pull in that master that we may have been in the 5D before coming to 3D. How do you feel about this?
Well, let me ask you, how do you personally remember who you are?
I actually don't have a specific memory, but I think through the 10 years of my journey, where I started uncovering truth about UFOs and everything like this, realizing that I'm more than just a physical body. A lot more of my codons are opening up through all the Schumann resonance coming in. So this light is actually helping us to remember who we are. And if we did have all these gifts, maybe from a previous lifetime, then those things are showing themselves. Your interests show maybe who you were in a past life. Like if you like to meditate, perhaps you were a Buddhist in a past life. Simple things like that. You can also try to connect with your higher self or your guides and receive information. But I think one of the reasons we are here is to try to remember. And I think the younger souls are remembering, the younger souls being like the rainbow children. They're a lot more conscious of this. So it's really tough to actually have those blueprints. But from some of my research, especially with the increase in the Schumann resonance, I feel that that is bringing online a lot of these dormant abilities, and it's awakening those codes. So I just feel like there's going to be more of those increases of the photonic light, which does unlock certain codons. So these waves are eventually going to help us. So it's trouble. It's trying to remember it. But, you know, we can't do that much unless we're giving the time to connect with ourselves and our higher selves, to try to remember and do our excitement.
Do you find that a lot of people perhaps wonder if it really is their higher self that they're contacting, or if they're just dreaming it or thinking, oh, this can't be real, when it actually is real?
So that's an issue too, because you can get kind of caught up in questioning yourself. And that's kind of our mind doing that.
Discernment, yeah.
So really tapping into your heart as much as you can, and just going based upon your intuition and your feeling. Your feeling isn't going to lie to you.
You know, and that's true. I agree with you 100%. But how do people know that it's their, how do they discern their intuition versus perhaps something that might not be in their highest or greatest good, in your opinion?
Well, these things, they can be distorted because we have negative extraterrestrials that mess with the frequencies and the wavelengths. So that can actually be something that is distorting it. But I feel like your first thought is the main thing you have to listen to. And sometimes we don't believe it because it's not logical and it's not practical to our thinking. Like, how does that make sense to you? But if it's your first thought and that's your guidance, some people get chills. Some people have signs and their angels speak to them for confirmation. So it's being able to see these synchronicities and see these signs, and following your inner knowing, because your first thought, your first instinct is most likely correct. It's just that later on you start to think too much, and then fear gets in the way, and that takes you off of your mission. But not to say that you can't actually think things out and think of options, because that's good too. But as a spiritual being, as someone who has a crown chakra and a soul star chakra, if that is open, that is your tool to be able to access that. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they're stuck in the lower 3 chakras, and they need to open that up. But there's things like implants too. The negative ETs have implants in us, which sometimes they need to be removed as well.
What if at a young age we were taught, you know, to pay attention to these synchronicities that come into our lives, and, you know, serendipities and coincidences? You know, it seems like what we're learning in school is the exact opposite of what we really need to know. You know, that the most important things aren't being taught or cultivated, like, you know, developing our abilities that we innately have from birth, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you know, this programming starts when you're a child, and it comes from other people too, and religions as well. So something like these programs, you know, they've been set in our minds, and it's something that we have to realize is listening to others sometimes is not following your highest best good. And really being in that we have so many things established, like these school systems, they're not teaching kids how to use crystals. They're not teaching kids how to meditate. All of this is a distortion because we're in a matrix that is run by reptilians that wanted to control and dominate and separate us. And when kids are born, they're actually very brilliant and very in tune to things, and they can see things. But later on, you know, there's people who scrutinize them. We keep each other in the kind of a social construct. And, you know, we have to be able to accept these things, that we have these gifts, and they may be supernatural to some people, but they are actually very natural. And it's
And it's-
allowing yourself to, and accepting yourself as different, and being able to move on from what mankind thinks about you. And there's very many negative things that, you know, we've been taught in school, and a lot of these children are being suppressed with Ritalin and being given vaccines. I believe that part of the vaccine agenda is to cause children who are very gifted, who are very awakened, to become autistic. And these vaccines are actually damaging their DNA, because the ones that are in power, they want to control them so much and to stop the awakening so much. So I think there's been some breakthroughs. I think that, you know, a lot of the laws are changing, and we have to kind of find those things that are positive, because it's really easy to be like focusing on a few bad things and not enough about what has been changed. And, you know, this whole collective consciousness awakening, it's been gathering pace, and it's like full momentum right now. So the Illuminati, they're all really running scared. They're hiding in their underground bases. They're preparing so many things, because they're really afraid of us truly being able to unite and to stand up. And so they're insistent on pushing chemtrails, on attacking us through fluoride to shut off our pineal glands, through pharmaceuticals to shut off our pineal glands. And I think that there's a grassroots system where people are establishing their own businesses and, you know, bringing their families into this, planting seeds. And it's unfortunate that at this time, a lot of people still are unawake. So we're doing a lot of work for them, especially as empaths. We're picking up on all of their pain, and working in overtime to try to increase the amount of people that are open to the subjects of UFOs and extra dimensions and all these things.
Boy, that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I appreciate your input on all this, because you know
You're
these
welcome.
these are important things to talk about. And what
Yes.
I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier today about, you know, different topics of what to talk about, for example, on these chats that I'm having to get people involved. And what the one that you came out initially with, how to deal with these heavy energies, that's hitting the nail right on the head, because a lot of people, everyone's going through this regardless of who you are. We're all going through this. Now, what you were saying about the elites, I think a lot of people would agree on this, that while they think they are the elites, we are actually the genetically superior of all the people on the planet right now, because of they kept their bloodlines so restricted between the 13 bloodlines, which were corrupted to begin with, and, you know, through incest and all that. But you know, we are the genetically elite, according to Dolores Cannon. We are the royalty of the universe right now with our DNA, because we have all these star families within each and every one of us.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is we are manufactured by certain different extraterrestrial races. Some of us may not be aware of it at all. And it's kind of in our contracts to be able to awaken at certain periods of time. And I feel like there's some way showers who are making it easier for other people. So in battling with these darker energies and these influences, you know, I feel like maybe not enough is working, because there's something higher and something very much more evil and powerful. And although you're saying that we have all this light and, you know, we have all these capabilities, like Dolores Cannon mentioned, that we have, you know, the God spark. There's really an evil influence, which I've been finding it very difficult to get to what exactly it is. It could be grays, it could be archons, and there's many multiple names for it. But what I believe is it's a draconian race, which is trying to manipulate people, and especially those bloodlines, and work through them. So one of the things that's happening with that is there's been multiple arrests. Recently, there's been like 1,800 arrests, and there's a list of unsealed indictments that are being opened now. So we have higher beings that are also assisting us with this shifting making sure that the evil is wiped off on this planet. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on right now and a lot of chaos. One of the things we have to focus on is bringing in the white light, because I think that is one of the reasons we're here for, is to ground this higher energy. And so this is what I kind of figured is the solution. So all of these cosmic rays that are coming out of the galactic central sun, I believe it is source light. And so source is defeating this evil presence by raising the frequencies and making it so hard for any of these dark, lower fourth dimensional beings to exist in this reality as it is increasing. So as the light increases, as the Schumann resonance increases, I think it will be defeating all these lower dimensional entities and their strategies. They're really trying to escape. They're trying to use whatever they can. But these good beings, they know where their bases are. They know where the technologies that they use are. And they're going in there and they're bombing them, and they have the white hats in the good side of the military. They're coming in into their caverns. They are arresting people. They are taking away their power and their finances, and they're sending them to Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay prison. So really what it is we have to get to the core of who's causing this and what's causing this. And it may not just be that this light is going to complete this. I think we have to help ground this light. We have to help others wake up so that we have more of a collective consciousness and power, because truly what this is, we are multidimensional beings, and this is a spiritual war going on in higher dimensions. So it's like us light workers, you know, we may be accelerating at a pace where we're up in 5D. So it makes this place, these lower energies, very uncomfortable for us. A lot of people have committed suicide and been depressed and just not been able to cope with this. So having an outlet such as your channel and people in the comments writing in, you know, we are addressing things and we're talking about things. So our thoughts and our wavelengths are impacting the universe, and they're changing things as well.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, is putting this forum out there to get more voices heard. Everyone's got a voice that has important stories or things to tell other people that other people really would benefit from. You know, I hate saying you need to hear this, or I hate saying you need to anything, but so many people have amazing stories that really should be heard by everyone else. And I agree with what you're saying. It seems that the draconians, those forces behind them, you know, basically there's this, I call it the pyramid of death. And there's all these levels of hierarchy that are out there there's so many levels that are even above the draconians, you know, that are out there that are basically their overlords and their overlords, and so on and so forth, that are panicking right now because I think, you know, we've seen them throw in everything but the kitchen sink, and the kitchen sink is on its way right now. They know the outcome. I think they've seen in the past, at least they probably had access to Project Looking Glass and saw the probable outcomes of what would happen. Like with Hillary, they never thought she would lose. Well, the only reason they never thought she would lose was they never had control of that technology at that point. They lost control of that. Matter of fact, I kind of think that Trump, with his connection with Tesla, his was his father or his uncle's connection to Tesla, I think Trump has the looking glass technology.
So with regards to the looking glass technology, I do not feel that the light workers and the light has this. So yes, the dark is able to manage it and manipulate it, but like you said, they're in fear and they're in panic because many of their timelines are not allowed to go through now. They recently started this situation with Iran starting to create World War III. Let me tell you, it wasn't about that. Okay, the Iranian situation was basically the leader, Soleimani, he needed to be killed because the Iraqi citizens had to be freed and liberated. And because this is tied to the RV, the reset of the currencies to go through. So I believe that Trump, with his connections to his uncle having the Tesla technology, it's possible that that is going to be something that we will be able to use in the future. But I believe that the source light knows that the good and light will win, and they're working on these timelines to correct these issues. And they're all maintaining a really close eye on this planet. There's actually thousands of ships around our atmosphere. These Andromedans, these Pleiadians, everybody is watching this place, and they're making sure that no nukes go off. They're making sure that this doesn't escalate. One of the things that I believe is that Trump is actually working with the Pleiadians, and the Pleiadians are giving him orders. And he's taking these orders and implementing them, such as removing all of the swamp. So that is something that is being worked on through him, but in accordance to the divine creator and the laws of the universe, good prevails over evil. And it may have been a really tough struggle in this third dimensional place. But if we do have any memories, even subconsciously, from past lives where we helped other planets ascend, then we're using it here. And other ET races who have also been through this ascension process, who feel our problems and our pain, are like, this is enough, and they're coming and they're stepping in. And I think it won't be long that we will be meeting family from the stars. I personally don't know exactly my races, but I feel like I've been traveling through many different planets, and I've been having experiences, on other places like in Andromeda or in Sirius.
That's where I
So,
feel you are. I see, I sense, or I feel like a cat-like energy about you. Yeah, there's some kind of feline energy associated with you.
yeah, I don't really know, Greg, because I think I'm really a mixture, and my
Oh,
soul
we
has
all
just
are.
been traveling through time, and I've been here and there. It could be that you're picking up on this feline race because I was probably in a Lyran body a while ago. We just don't know.
No,
But I
no.
think as time goes by, I think these dormant DNA codes will activate, and we will know more. And that's what's interesting is I really do believe that there's going to be a thing called the purple light. And once this purple light comes in, it's going to turn us on and activate us. And
Where does
some of
this
us,
purple light come from?
you know, I think it's the purple beings. The purple beings are a special race that is helping us to bring us into a new financial scenario.
Where do they come from?
I would have to ask somebody. I really am not sure, but they're. I'm not saying that they're the reason for the purple light. I'm just saying I've heard of this purple light coming in, and that this is going to actually turn us on to do our missions. And some people, like you and myself, we will have to be able to console others once things really start to become revealed and unveiled. And so we're going to have to be like babysitters and kind of show the way.
Now,
You
I've been
know,
in this genre for quite a while, and I remember back in the 1990s when they were talking about GESARA, and then it eventually became GESARA, GESARA, GESARA. They've been talking about this for years and leading us on. I honestly think it's hot air and bullshit.
okay, let me tell you, 100% it is real. I have a friend that is an insider that is working on this as we speak. Currently, there are
They've been
bankers
working on
that
it for 20, 30 years now, and nothing's happened.
I understand, but there had to be a process where a lot of people were eliminated, and there was many different things like hacking and corrupt bankers. And so it's been a long process where there's been many dark entities wanting to interfere with this and to stop it, because it is one of the main things that are suppressing us. But I can tell you 100% this is real. It's coming through.
Okay.
And we have different beings that are going to assist this as well. So these funds, they have been set up. And I think that the majority of people who are invested in this, who are following this, they should get ready and prepare themselves with a plan of what they're going to do. And I understand the frustration with it hasn't manifested yet, but there's been a scenario in which there's been a step-by-step process to have to clear all of the people who are stopping this and make sure to make way for it. It's
Okay.
100% real.
Well, I hope that it is. I've never wished for it not to be real, but after, like I said, following it for this long, I've seen a lot of hot air and bullshit in this genre before, and I know what's real. And certain people, you just like who was it? This one channeler. I'm not going to call this person out in public. I would never do that. But this one channeler just keeps riding the coattails of what the popular opinion is, and it never comes to fruition. So, and one of the things this channeler keeps saying is pumping the hopium on GESARA for years. Oh, it's coming out this weekend, this next week, guaranteed next week. No, something happened. Next week. No. Something always comes up. Something always happens. And, people are tired of it. And I hope you're right. I really do. I really do.
Okay. Gregg, I just want to make mention that I've been through that as well. I've seen many things where it's going to happen. It's going to happen. 1 week turns into the next week. The majority of people who have been following this, yes, they're frustrated. They're sick of it. Some of them have been sick and tired of being impoverished, not being able to do their jobs and their light work and their mission. But one of the things is we're very, very close. We are extremely close. We're in a window where we're about to receive the 800 numbers, where we're about to exchange our currencies. So please, if anyone is listening to this and you have your currencies, have something in mind, have your humanitarian efforts in mind, visualize, manifest, ground this in, bring it in, because it is another thing that is planned along with disclosure. GESARA is planned, and things will be happening, and they will be unfolding within a very short amount of time. And especially with these insane Schumann resonance increases and clearing of the dark even more and coming into the age of Aquarius, it is actually another alignment that is happening currently, which is very good luck. And I myself feel that from all the other things that I've been listening to about this, that the beings are even preparing themselves to come and land and disclose themselves.
One thing I want to show you, I'm curious about your impression about this. Okay, so here's I don't know if, can you see it, the Schumann resonance?
Yes.
So right here is the line that's 7.83. That's the general Schumann resonance. But we've been getting this second line right here. Oh, look at this. How about that? There's another rainbow line that's coming up right here. That like what we saw right through here and here. But there's a second line which is almost double the 7.83 right here at the 16 marker. And there's been things that have been popping up down here, which to me, if I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, so 7.83 is Earth, 3D Earth. These are the Earths. This is the new Earth, or a higher dimensional aspect of this planet. And down here might be 5D Earth as well, or a higher dimensional aspect.
So my opinion on this is that a week ago, we were taken off the old 3D AI. The old 3D AI was completely shut off. And there was a void. And I was on this channel about a week ago telling you about this vertigo experience. And it was like a void, and it was getting ready to set up and bring in the new AI and a higher one, an upgraded one. So in relation to that new line, I believe that that could have been absolutely like a new Earth resonance. Like that graph, actually, all those white lines that it shows, it is such a high frequency that it is immeasurable by the graph. So it turns white because it is off the charts, off the scale. Like last week, we saw for 13 hours straight this white line.
17, wasn't it? Oh, no, that was the blackout.
I'm not sure,
Right.
but actually what that was, the whole 13 hours, this was no longer a natural occurrence of a Schumann resonance increasing. What this was there was Pleiadian ships that were bringing in this new 5D frequency. Currently around the sun, there's 2 draconian ships that are trying to block these higher light frequencies. This is what I'm concerned about, is that they're up there trying to destroy these waves from coming in and helping us ascend.
I saw
So
somebody talking about that. I think it was, she goes by the name Lady V that was talking
I
about
think that's who I heard it from too. Yes. And so I was surprised she figured that out. But the picture, you saw the picture I'm talking about. They're
Yeah.
actually
to the right-hand
in
side of the, yeah.
yeah, they're in front of this solar burst from the sun. So what we're experiencing is we're not only experiencing the galactic central sun increasing, we're experiencing Pleiadian ships. Many thousands of them are actually bringing in these 5D light codes. Many people are experiencing symptoms, even people who are quote unquote unawake. They're having anxiety, sleeplessness. These increases are impacting our bodies so much. We need rest. We need to drink plenty of clean water with lemon juice, eat high vibrational foods. And I really mean this. I am a cigarette smoker. I smoke, organic cigarettes, but at the same time, I have to eliminate things like that as well, just to be able to allow my body to bring in these light codes, because it is working in a sense on my cellular DNA and on my cellular memory. And within our DNA and our cellular memory are very dark, negative energies, which we have to release and let go and purge. And that's another thing that we're still working on. And it's really tough to go through this, but hanging in there is really important, because not only are we ascending and changing into a crystalline light body, this earth is doing it as well. And it's very many volcanoes and earthquakes going on right now. My belief is that this may be a reaction to the very high energies coming in, that the Mother Earth needs to release the pressure by these volcanoes and by these earthquakes. So, just prepare. One technique that I do is I imagine the light coming in through my crown chakra, and then like pushing it out in a curved way like this. So this is like a technique that I learned, and bringing it in and then shooting it out through the sides like this. And that's going to help stabilize these energies and keep from all these earthquakes and scenarios like this.
Is it possible that all these earthquakes, volcano eruptions and stuff like that, is it possible that that's perhaps a metaphor of the bloody show, the birthing of the new earth?
I think the earth is going through a process right now where it's tired. It is given so much to us. We have drained it and sucked it all up so much. And earth itself has a consciousness. So it could be reacting. It could be saying, I've had enough. I'm so depleted. So it releasing all these things. One thing for sure is that we have to be able to go along with whatever she's doing, because this is much bigger. We're either going to move along with it, or simply our energies are not going to be able to handle it. So I think many of the things like the purging of our densities and taking care of our own selves, having the time to do self-care, and also calming down the other people in your life that they don't even know what's going on is important.
How do you do that?
Well, I think maintaining a peaceful environment, such as with peaceful music, making sure to balance other people's energies. We could do Reiki on them. We could throw purple light on them. Also, just tell them, if you're experiencing something unusual, I want you to let me know. I want to talk to you. And just, there's so much coming out and about, and people are lashing out, or, they're experiencing these things, and it's kind of erratic. And I think you just got to look at it from a perspective where you've been through it, you've healed through it, you were one of the ones that experienced it in the beginning, and knowing how to keep them calm. Go back to what you learned. How did you learn to deal with this? You know, maybe you hid under your bed, maybe you did breathing exercises. Like, just being an example, I think, is one of the best ways to teach others.
Leading by
You know, if
example.
I'm in the
Yeah, definitely.
backyard and I'm doing yoga, or I'm doing something, I think people are more than likely to follow along.
So I see we're joined by some other people here. If you want to jump in, is it Elena? Hi, Elena.
Hey,
What are you thinking so far?
I jumped in.
Thank you. I'm glad you
I
finally did
wanted to
that.
say something
Sure.
about like calm people down in your life.
Mhm.
Like, for example, when I'm at work, everybody's like, "Oh, I feel so weird. It's such a crazy day. Why is this happening in the restaurant?" And the people and the customers are crazy. So I tell them it's the space weather, and I tell them to look it up so that they'll learn about what's going on, and kind of like tell them, "Oh, these are normal flu symptoms because of the geomagnetic storms and stuff." And it kind of does calm them down because they're like, "Oh, Elena's smart. We're just having space weather."
Yeah, that's great. That's good that you do that.
I'm going to take off. Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And
Yeah.
thank you
Stay
for,
strong,
oh,
everybody.
somebody wanted to know if you had a YouTube channel. Somebody on YouTube was asking if you have a YouTube channel.
My YouTube channel is MONIKAKANIGOWSKI. I haven't put out much publicly because I do a lot behind the scenes, and there's a reason for that. So
You have a website also?
no, I don't.
Okay. Well,
I
feel
do a
free to
lot of
jump
things
on
with
this
my
forum.
consciousness. I don't really participate as much in the actual, you know, wanting to be out there.
Well,
But I thought
you have a lot of
we should
important
have a
things
talk.
to say, so feel free to jump on anytime that we're doing this.
Okay, I
You're always
appreciate
welcome
that.
here. All
I
right.
appreciate that.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All
Bye.
Thanks. Ooh.
right. So you got the
This
nerve
is
to
my
come on
first
here.
time using a Zoom. It's so fun.
I know I can bring on a lot of people if I really wanted to, but I find that most people are so introverted, like I am, and probably you as well, that it's hard to get on there. But once you get on, it's really not that bad. You know, basically,
Yeah, it
it's just,
took me forever. I finally was like, okay, I'll share some video and
yeah.
audio.
So what led to your awakening?
It was probably whenever I was like about 18, and this girl was my best friend, and she used to always say, "You're a high priest, you're a high priest." So I started looking it up, and I found out monks and like celibacy, and I started meditating. And I had this one meditation completely sober where it was like half my body disappeared in the sky and the bottom half disappeared in the earth, and my arms were like the horizon. And I just felt like I was completely everything. And I just like knew that everybody was walking around together with me. And then for about 5 days after that, I felt like I was floating above my head like a puppet, like controlling my body. And I couldn't order stuff at the store. And I found out it was a spontaneous ego death. And I just started researching a lot and learning more. But that was after I was already interested because I had an out of body experience by accident again when I was 15. And I saw all these other worlds that were like, oh, I could see what it's like to really be alive. My whole life is a dream. And I was devastated that everything I'd done was fake. It was all a dream. But I was like, oh, wait. So it was a really, really good dream. And I could see what all these other realities are like. And then I got scared and I went back in my body. And ever since then, I knew there was other places and things and stuff that I came from and I wanted to know. Like,
So you were saying that one of your experiences was back when you were 18, and then 5 years later. You don't look much older than 18 right now.
I'm 27.
Yeah, you're 2 years older than my daughter. It's wonderful to
Yeah.
see awakened. I don't mean to insult you, but kids out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, to see
Yeah.
awakened people, of your age out there. My daughter's in that boat where she has experiences. She sees things like me before they happen. And she doesn't have a lot of people that she can talk to about that, but she does have one friend that she finally confided in. And as it turned out, her friend also saw things before they happened too. They both have psychic abilities, but neither both were afraid to really share that with one another, because oftentimes children, kids, young adults will ridicule others about these.
That was what happened with me. I had no one to say anything to. Everyone was like, "You're crazy, you're weird." And your website is what I looked at ever since about 2010. And I always read stuff from you. So like I read it like the news and I'm like, oh, other people say the same things that I say. And they read the sunrise energies.
Mhm, mhm. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So how did you relate to this topic about
This
incarnating?
today,
Yeah.
I was wondering why all the time I incarnated here, and why did I ever think I'd want to come to this horrible place, and like why did I think I was so grand that I could do it? Like I'm wondering why I came to suffer this much and what I would ever possibly want to do here. I always wonder that, like, why did I come to this place? I know I remember better things, beautiful things, but I came down here.
It's funny. Well, some of us heard the call a little earlier
That's,
than you. And I was like,
yeah.
hell yeah, I'm in. And you're like on the other side going, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want that molasses. I remember what it was like going there. I don't know. Finally,
I could
like, screw it.
see
I'm
that.
in.
Yeah.
Like 30
One
minutes
of your
later.
articles where we heard the call and it was like our mother goddess told us we had to go and we were so sad to leave her to come here. I remember that. I remember hearing that call to go
Yeah.
to this scary place, and I
Yeah.
just don't really know if I remember why I thought I'd do such a good job. I
Mhm.
don't even know.
Yeah. Well, some people, like our last, the girl that had to leave, that was just here, Monica, she's here and she's got a message and a purpose, and she's going head first, and she's helping all these people with all this information. And I think it's wonderful. There are other people though who are just here to hold the light, to hold the energy, to be that point on the grid that connects us all. And that's why everyone is exactly where they need to be right now, because that's happening. Some people can just be silent, hold that energy. They don't have to do anything else but hold that energy wherever they are, and they're still doing their purpose.
Yeah, that's like my sister. I could just see her clearly. Anywhere she goes, she just lights up people. She like lights up people's DNA and it starts jumping and just dancing because she's so weird and different. She makes people like wake up by looking at her. Like my
Ah,
sister's so magical. She doesn't even know it.
yeah,
She's magical.
awesome.
She's one of those light bringers.
So I
Yeah,
see
and
what
what
that,
they said about how we keep saying we're almost done, and I'm just waiting and waiting, like getting pissed off.
and I can guarantee no one knows the exact day or date of when the event will happen. Many of us have seen and or felt it, but
Mhm.
it seems like the only reason it hasn't happened yet is because the longer we wait, the more people are awakening, and reaching that, at least that 51% that Dolores Cannon talked about as well. Um, and when you reach that 51%, you made it. And there's so many people, because of the awakening and movement that's going on right now, that are going from that 48, 49 to 50, 51, 52. Even this whole thing with Q, it's called the Great Awakening. And eventually what they're going to be doing, through politics and their truth seeking there, eventually they're going to start asking questions in the area of spirituality. And they're going to be asking, oh, where did I come from? Why am I here? Why did I incarnate into this shithole? So that, people are,
Exactly.
it all leads to an awakening and a deeper questioning of why we're here. What is our purpose?
Yeah, I'm to the point that I'm just enjoying the last time we have here because I know it's not ever going to be like this again, like that we're not going to have full 3D right there, right here, this now. So I'm just starting to just enjoy the darkness of it a little bit.
I think also some of what Monica was talking about is for the people that will be left behind. Some of the people that get left behind, they're going to still be taken care of. It's going to be whatever's left over is still better than what it is right now. Whatever happens here on this planet will be better. And yeah, they'll have that Nasara, GESARA, perhaps, in that reality. My reality, that's not part of my reality. I don't plan on being here that long. I expect us to move beyond money, religion,
me
government.
either. I know I'm going to be gone from this, so I might as well enjoy it while it lasts because I'm going to be somewhere much higher, prettier, and better, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss this. Like these people, I'm gonna wonder about them and like probably hope that we can go back and forth to show them where we're at and like help them even though they're still back there. I'm gonna want to go back and see them, and then go back and forth. I'm gonna still probably want to do like I wish that we could do that and maybe we can. I don't know.
If
I
it's
don't know
possible, that'd be cool. Yeah, definitely.
Me and my friend, this one girl, like she had a dream where we were broadcasting to everybody that was stuck in their house watching TVs. Like because they were stuck watching TV and news, they were stuck in 3D. And we were up like in a higher vibration than them, but broadcasting back to them. And they couldn't see us, but we were on waves, like radio waves or something, and having them hear us.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a future dream maybe she had, but maybe that's gonna be possible in some way, like for them to hear us or see us or for us to broadcast to them, because that's what I think about a lot too. All the people that are not gonna go together to want to be happy together and want to live together, like some of my coworkers, for example, they don't want to be nice anytime soon. They're like, I just leave them alone, but I just wonder about if we're gonna be able to contact them ever again. I don't know.
I don't think anyone really knows, honestly, but what I feel is that probably not. Probably what will happen is it'll be almost like we were erased, like almost like in Back to the Future where his siblings were being erased when he held up that picture.
Yeah.
It'll kind of be like that where you just kind of fade away. And it'll be as if we never existed, but we're still in a different higher dimension existing. And
maybe that's why we're delaying it so more people can make it. We're just delaying it and delaying it. Maybe we actually want it to take so long.
I've always said I want to be the Walmart greeter. I want to be the first one to go. It's just so I can greet everyone and give them all a big hug,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm kind of the opposite. I want to be the last one to go so I can make sure whoever can make it can make it.
Well, and that's
then I'm calling the last few people like, come on, let's go.
I think ultimately that's what's happening with all of us. And that's probably the collective decision is for
we're
all
all
of us.
hanging back, waiting for the others.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Maybe we should just enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm down with that. So I'm going to unmute the room right now and see if there's anyone else that wants to join in with us. So, the whole room is live right now on Zoom if you want to join in.
Right. Mommy, you already know them.
I hear Desiree's child.
Hi.
Hi.
The little people.
Say hi. Hi.
Hi, Sunshine. How are you, sweetie?
Hi. She's been learning most of the time, so.
Don't be shy.
Here, go play with the cards over there. Here, go teach.
Do you have oracle cards?
Yeah, I'm teaching her how to do some mudras and.
Oh, that's awesome.
while everybody was talking, I pulled a whole bunch of cards for everybody. Okay.
Really?
There's
Okay.
there's a lot going on for interness with everybody. Okay,
That is nice.
okay. So there's a lot of energy that's coming out here. A lot more than we can actually really admit to.
You know, I'm sensing both positive and negative energies going on right now. There's some really, really good ones, like what we're seeing on the Schumann resonance, but there's some also there's some kind of nefarious, darker energies that are trying to combat whatever is positive that's coming in. I don't know if other people sense or feel that, but
well,
that's what I'm getting.
When someone's talking about dark energies, you got to remember like the female is the dark energy and the male is the light energy. So, and there seems to be more female rising at this time, like with Earth, there's a lot of more female darkness coming up. Thank you. So there's just a lot of energy just coming up, and I feel like it's really hard to let go. A lot of build up tension with everybody, a lot of things that are coming from the past and future possibly. But there's just so much going on, and at the same time, I think it's something personally for each person to ground. To okay, so number one thing is grounding, definitely grounding. It's a card that came up. Number one thing, put your roots deep into the earth, and imagine you're growing roots like a tree, and imagine that those roots growing into the dirt, and you can hear them and sound, hear the sounds and feel the energy of the earth. And that's number one that people need to really start doing. Second one, because I do mudras for different chakras. The second one is reassurance, your inner belief for your own self, your protection for yourself, inner nourishment and safety. So once you know that you're grounded in the earth, you know you're safe. So it's more reassurance that you are alive on earth. And a lot of people, like the things, like what it says on there, that's what caught my eye today. Kind of feeling whacked out.
Caught your eye?
What? It caught my eye.
Caught your eye?
Yep.
Oh.
It's attention grabbing.
Oh. That's so funny.
It is funny. But what caught my eye is there's a lot of people that have been feeling like out of this world kind of feeling. I don't belong here. There's just too much war going on, a lot of anxiety, depression.
This is a lot.
It is a lot. You pick out your favorite ones. So
I will pick out.
It's to help reassure yourself
My favorite.
that you do belong on this earth. So it is to help you reassure that you do belong on this earth, and there is a path for you specifically, and for each person on this earth to know that they do belong on this earth. So there's the root chakra, grounding. Solar plexus is reassurance. Hold on, don't think I will be. I'm using these right there. For solar plexus, there's a lot of transformation going on, like the butterflies. A lot of people see a lot of butterflies going on, a lot of memes. I've been seeing a lot with butterflies, pictures. The earth is transforming, and so are we. We're transforming into a crystalline, eating more healthy. When you eat stuff that's more toxic, you feel down. When you eat more food that's uplifting, you feel more up. It's just a lot of transforming into your own true self, finding out who you truly are for your own self and what you are capable of as your own being. And as I was talking with a lot of people, some people don't know what their true meaning of life is for this, being here. They don't know what they're here for, and they don't know what their purpose is. So, and that's something with the solar plexus, you'll have to find out your own personal power. Right here. That's called transformation. It means a butterfly. Oh, okay. You got to find one. All right. So that's the solar plexus. The heart plexus, or the heart chakra. That one. Freedom. It looks like a butterfly. Like this. Freedom. Or like an eagle. So the heart chakra is inner guidance. Listen to what your inner self is telling you to do each and every single day. That means if you know something doesn't feel right to you, listen to your gut feeling, because it's more like your heart telling you, hey, this isn't right. Listen to me. There you go. You got it. See? Can you make it flat? There you go. There's a butterfly. So listen to your heart more, and that's where your heart is supposed to lead the way, and the heart area is the gateway to your own expression. Same with your solar plexus. It is. Your heart is your energetic field, your power of who you truly are. So listen to your inner guidance. That one. Breathe. Take a breath. Yeah, there you go. Take a breath to know that you're still alive. So listen to what your heart is telling you. All right, crown chakra, or what is that one? Inner truth. Listen to your inner self, just like your heart does. All right, your throat. There's a lot of throat energy going on. It's release. So release what no longer needs to be there. If you have something on your mind and you feel like you're getting sick, getting the coughs and stuff, you feel like you're, got the flu-like symptoms. Maybe it's something that's been on your mind. Okay. Quiet down. So it's time for you to let out what has been on your mind lately. If someone's been really pissing you off, or excuse my language, but screwing up with your frequency, let it out. Tell the person the truth. Be blunt. It's time to be blunt. It's time to tell the person what you feel. Don't hold back anything that's been on your mind. This is a time to not hold your feelings back.
I totally agree with that. In the past, I might have disagreed with that, but right now I totally agree. I think you're right 100%. Speak your mind. Get out what needs to be gotten out, because now is the time to do it. You need to purge everything. A complete 100% full purging is needed from everyone. Be honest with yourself and everyone else.
And that's with the throat. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, throat. There you go. Let it out. Let it out. Punch someone in the throat. Maybe you'll let them out too.
No.
I'm kidding. No, I don't recommend that. All right. So your third eye.
I feel my heart.
I know it. Your third eye is your inner witness. Start witnessing things that are going on at this time. There's a lot of things going on. Start gathering information for yourself and find out what you want for yourself and what is working for you and what is not working for you, because there is a lot going on at this time. There's a lot of dark and there's a lot of light. So you got to combine both of them and find out what is good for you. So we all come from different aspects of our own, complete selves and different, we all come from different planets or different soul starting places where our soul originated from. I'm from Sirius, so I'm pretty bright, but at the same time I'm pretty, anyways. I speak my truth, so I know what I need to do. Thank you. And the last one you need to work on for your crown chakra is your spiritual truth. Here, you can use these ones now. There's a lot of energy that's going on and around, and a lot of people are waking up. Here, you can use all of them. Sorry. And there's a lot of energy.
You're such a good mama.
Only on my good days. But there's a lot of spiritual truth going on. Some may be true, some may be false, but that's where the inner wisdom is telling you.
Discernment, yeah.
Exactly. So listen to all those cards of what I said today. Ground, reassurance. Yeah, you can read a book. Got tons of books. Grounding, number 1. Reassurance, number 2. Self-aware, self-awareness with your own self, your own power. Opening up your heart, letting go of anything that's going on with your throat. Be a witness with your third eye, and open up with your spiritual truth. So that's the reading for tonight. But
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
there's a little one that likes to help tonight. So
Yes, from both of you.
so there is a lot going on. So I would definitely. Here, use the pencil.
I got 4 stitches in my thumb, and I have a feeling it's just because of all the energies flying around. 4 stitches for like no reason. What is this supposed to teach me? I don't know.
What happened
But
that
I
led
just
up
think
to
it's too much stuff. I was at work and I picked up a steak sauce bottle that broke. So I ended up getting 4 stitches because I didn't realize there was glass sticking up. And I was gonna just sweep it and pick up the big part, but that didn't work out.
No,
So
apparently not.
That happened on Monday. Yeah.
So
Last Monday,
I
exactly
guess you
1 week.
needed a vacation from work.
I think so, because I'm off today and I'm off tomorrow again. And
Yeah.
I had a few days off thanks to this.
Maybe the broken glass is telling you to take a step back and slow down from life.
Yeah.
You think so? Because
Take
I
a
was
step
wondering. Yeah.
I definitely say that
I need to-
meditation is huge right now for everybody to just continue to meditate and bring themselves in and ground themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, we got.
That is interesting.
Who said that?
Thanks.
we got,
I think
someone new in here.
I'm like,
Was that-
like, what do I need a break from? Sheesh. My
Oh, yeah,
coworkers.
it's my friend Richie. Yeah.
Oh, Michael. Okay. Hey,
Next.
Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Hey.
Yeah, I've been
Hello.
following you for a very long time, and I'm excited to finally join you guys in a more kind of an intimate way. It's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, this is what it's all about as far as I'm concerned, bringing Star Family together and actually putting a face and a voice with the names and everything, and everyone, like I said, everyone's got amazing stories, multiple stories and experiences to share with one another. So yeah, it's great that other people are jumping in and joining in with us. I'm digging it.
Mhm.
And I like Aline. Is it Alina?
Elena.
Alina.
Elena.
Okay, pretty. So I think the
Thank
message overall for everybody, since everybody's feeling kind of overwhelmed at this moment, is to take a step back and to look at life as a whole for yourself and for anybody around you, actually as the world, and just kind of meditate upon it and just look at the trees and just know that you are here for a reason. Even though you might not know your reasoning for being here, but to know that you have a life purpose. You might not know it, but it's going to come up to you within the next 2 weeks to a month if you're not too sure. So just, I would say meditate, take this few minutes and just meditate, ground to the earth, go next to a tree, hug the tree and talk to the tree because they'll tell you. They will definitely tell you.
But what about those people whose life purpose is just
Alright.
to anchor the energy to
Yes, please. I just want to exactly say that. So I want to give you the purpose. The purpose is that we're all trying to create this in this future. So we have to all manifest it together. So you need to spend time meditating on what your future, your most beautiful future is, so that you can create that and share that with the world, because you're a beautiful divine being, and that is what you're supposed to be. So just dream about your most divine future, and that will be the best blessing for all of us.
It's a shame that we have these meat suits, because they're so diverse from one another. But if people actually saw just the energy signature, that divine light that everyone has instead of the meat suit, I think it'd be a whole different world. We wouldn't be hurting each other as much or being as rude or condescending to one another.
Right. And that all starts within, right? So as you find your inner self and you connect your left and right consciousness and you find who your higher being and higher self is, then you can remove your own ego and realize that we're all one and we're all in this together. And we're going to enjoy this planet for a very long time all together. And then, like I was talking about earlier, we'll be traveling other planets as fifth dimensional beings, helping other planets race to the third dimension, just like other people are doing for us right now.
Well, here's something that's interesting. You don't see this every day, but on the YouTube chat, this person goes by the name of Good Looking White Man, apparently, said his name is Peter North here, old porn star, awesome stream guys. And it's cool that, you know, even people in, you know, any and every industry is awakening. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. I do know several people in that industry that have awakened as well, that, you know, and have had amazing conversations with people from that industry. So it's really cool seeing, you know, people from all walks of life that are awakening and realizing that we're all in this together, and here we are. You know, what can we do from this point forward to bring that energy to us and basically bring that event to us. So I just thought that was pretty cool. I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Well, I mean, it's obviously we're all, like, all creatures, all animals are going with us. So, you know, like plants and animals are raising our vibration while they changed into their next vibrational level. So, you know, we're seeing spiritual medicines and plant-based medicines coming back, and playing a huge role in converting our bodies back to the earth again, which is a fantastic thing.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's about a week and a half or so ago, a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine from upstate New York, her and I used to play foosball back in the days when I was 18. And I think she was underage because she's a few years younger than me, but we used to be foosball partners at this bar, and we've known each other for a long time. But she sent me this video on several health videos that I was already in the process of starting to, I had just bought a juicer and I was going to be juicing but she sent me this video that really helped secure, you know, the direction that I'm going in right now. And, you know, since I started juicing, my blood pressure has dropped. My blood sugar has dropped. I'm getting healthier through plant medicine. Basically, you know, what you eat is your medicine, or it is your worst nightmare. It's your cancer. You know, so it's
yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. We've actually even seen how, you know, cannabis can reverse your DNA. So like your bad junk DNA that's kind of been messed up from, you know, potentially poisons or other things. We can fix your DNA with that. And, you know, the psilocybin is coming back as a health benefit. I was just down in Florida next to you, and we can get veterans cannabis and psilocybin medicine now without any interruption. And so there's just an incredible amount of these things moving. I mean, I've been even hearing about the Sasquatch. They're raising vibrations with us and moving up. So, you know, it's amazing that it's not just us that are going through it. You know, all these different pieces are doing it with us. You know, we're so egocentric as humans, and we just have to forget about our ego. That's part of this whole drop, is, you know, remembering who we really are, and that we are all connected in such a great way that ego doesn't really matter. It's just our divine expression of what we are.
Well, if this energy is being transmuted or sent from the center of the Milky Way galaxy, that means not just our entire planet and all the animals, everything within the galaxy is also. Now, what if that is just working as a stargate from something much greater for the universe that's sending it out all throughout the universe? It's only being transmitted through the center of each galaxy.
I couldn't agree anymore. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So everything everywhere will be affected by this energy. As above, so below. It's got to be happening.
If
What
it
led to your
ripples out
awakening?
forever.
Mine?
Yeah.
Well, I've been in the hemp space here in upstate New York for 3.5 years.
Oh, really?
And
That's where I'm from, upstate New York.
yeah, and first of this year, we had a change in federal policy. And we had cannabis legalized for the first time. And so hemp was legalized. All of the plant, including THC, is legalized as long as it comes from the hemp plant. And that meant big business and big money. So I took a large investment from a partner, and he decided to make some sexual advances on me. I decided to decline, and then he paid some woman to try to ruin my marriage. And I don't know, it just didn't really work out very well for me. So I took like 5 days of being awake, and we were on the way back because it happened in Colorado, on the way back to Colorado driving. And I almost, I don't know, middle of the night, all my ascended masters came to me and told me to pay attention. And I talked to them for 30 minutes. And I promised them that I would fulfill my life contract. And they decided to spare my death. So I'm here as an angel to be able to do the things that I'm supposed to be doing in this universe, and continue to change this planet for all of us.
That's exactly what I meant by everybody has an amazing story. That's fascinating that, you know, there was a flashbulb moment in your life that just changed everything. And I think so many people out there that are watching or listening to this have gone through that in their own way, but every way is unique from one another. You know, myself, I was kind of like, I was born, I kind of born to awaken. Well, at least with that knowing about religion, I've always known something is not right with religion, you know, and that was one of my things that propelled me. But you know, ultimately,
well, there's a lot of problems too with people, because as many people know, they've known about this for a very long time, the government. So the government has used tools to make it so that we forget or that we don't go into our divine power. That's the reason why this the cannabis, you know, and why it works and replaces, you know, fixes your DNA, because, you know, it's there to help us repair what other people are doing to our bodies with these heavy metals and things like that. They are destroying our DNA chains, and so we have to have ways to pull them out. So like right now, I'm working on a big project with the Native Americans, the indigenous tribes, and working on doing complete bioremediation and cleaning up like fumashika and all the waste and toxic waste in China. And, you know, there's just so many pieces to the universe that are coming together to be able to aid us. And the other thing is that the universe is telling us things because our intuition is now available to listen to those higher vibrations. You know, we can tune into that signal and listen to, you know, other beings leading us, you know, in a way where, you know, you can't get off your divine path because they're there to help you with it.
I think a lot of people are starting to pay attention more to those signs, those messages that we get, and everyone gets them. It could be, you know, you go into your car and you turn the radio on and a certain song comes on with a specific message that's just for you. You know, everything is choreographed to a way that these messages are going to come about. You might look at the clock and, you know, I'm looking at it right now in Eastern time, it's 9:39. Those are Tesla numbers, 939. You know, they're beautiful numbers. You know, you look at what I've told people is in terms of synchronicities, this is something that a lot of people haven't considered, but now once I put it out there, you're going to start noticing it. Whatever your birthday is, you know, for example, if you were born on January 15th, you're going to start seeing 1:15 as the time on the clock. Whatever the time is, you're going to see, whatever your birthday is, you're going to see as the time. So that's just another synchronicity and confirmation that you are here for a reason and a purpose, more so than what you might ever possibly.
So, yeah, I want to talk really quick about this because I've actually gone through a really true, like, you know, life-changing experience myself in the past weekend, because there are like godlike weapons that are like give the voice of God in your head. So there are people being tortured, and those people are actually being tortured for their intellectual property, because AI doesn't exist. They use our own human patterns to create AI. And so they basically torture people to get the answers to those AI questions and utilize their own minds. So there are people that are actually being tortured and put things in their head. And then there's the divine telling you things, and they are distinctly different channels. And I think that that makes it even harder for us, as you know, as we ascend, to know what to listen to. And I think the real key to all that is continuing to utilize your heart chakra as you move forward, and listening with your heart instead of your brain, and just moving through your intuition, and knowing that that's going to lead you and always guide you. Your feelings are always going to guide you further. So one of the other things that I'm working on heavily right now and moving forward with is the Unfailing Love Project. So we're going to be putting together an organization that we teach people to love each other, and to the point of unfailing love. So that means that you can get in a room and exchange your authentic selves, like people are doing right here on this chat, and share each other's authentic being without any, you know, discourse, judgment, and that will be, you know, amazing asset, because I actually designed a new education system, and I believe that this is potentially part of the way we can solve it. Is if we just continue to teach each other every day, why would we need a school if the community became the school and we were just sharing as a community and growing? So there's so many ways that love just kind of conquers all problems and all situations. And, you know,
Well, ultimately, it's everything. It's everything. Yeah. Do you have a website for this initiative, or a YouTube channel that you're going to be putting this stuff out on? Well, he's still here.
Frozen.
Yeah, he well, I don't see his. I see his name, but I don't see his video up. Okay, well, hopefully he pops back, and you know, if he has a website, he can share that with people. That's cool. Yeah. Well, that's quite
Well,
the
teaching
awakening
people how to
story.
love sounds great.
Yeah, yeah. That's quite the story on his awakening too. What happened that led up to that, where he was at a turning point, you know, fork in the road. It's either adios, I'm out of here, or I'm staying and I'm going to make this world an incredible place for
He's
everyone.
from upstate, and I'm also from upstate New York. I mean,
Really?
I'm from the city of New York, not upstate. I'm from Manhattan in the Bronx, but now I live in Florida. And you can see like what you said about if we could see each other's energy, frequency, signature, and our essences instead of these meat suits, we would feel so differently about each other. And like you, the other girl, it's all an example of someone that you can just look at the air around you guys and see that he's a beautiful person. You with your cards and your sage, the girl who's so knowledgeable, and like we can see each other's essences already a little bit. That's gonna get stronger. I think it's becoming to a lot of people that never thought they'd ever believe they could see anything like that. Because people, also customers, tell me like, what is this thing about you? And I'm like, I know you can see stuff you don't believe in. That's all it is. It's I love you. It's just love for you. I love you. It's my love. You see
know,
my love and you think that you love.
we put things in
But
these silly frames of time, you know, here on Earth. On other planets, like for example, Mars has a different rotation than Earth. I might only be 40 years old on Mars, or 45 or something like that. You would be probably 18. There you go. There's your 18. But yeah, you know, but we put these things in time, but what is really time? Even if, you know, I turned 60 this year, that's just not even the blink
good
of an
job.
eye. That's not even the blink of an eye, you know, in the frame of reality of, you know, how many lifetimes have I lived? How long have I been in existence? You know, how many billions of incarnations have I had, or whatever, you know? It's just, we're moving beyond that. And I think once we move beyond the physical body, that's all that's left, is that energy signature of what we have. And that's how we will recognize one another, is through our energy signatures.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're cleaning out all our darkness now, because it won't be able to hide anywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to see each other's true desires, true thought.
You know, and that's the funny part too, is, you know, once we do go to, you know, higher dimensions and have increased abilities where everything becomes transparent, There's still no
telepathic.
judgment on that, no matter what it was that you've done in the past. You know, how we've all done things that probably we're not too proud of, you know, at one point or another in our lives, we've done something like that, but you know, once we get to that point in our spiritual progression where, you know, we move beyond that and we're either light bodies or in the next stage of spiritual dimensions, you look at that and you'll see like everything that other person did, but there's no judgment. If anything, you'll both have a good laugh out of it and say, can you believe we did that in that third dimension? But look at everything that we learned. It won't be a laughing at, it'll be a laughing with, if anything. But I don't even think it'll be that. It's totally non-judgmental.
Yeah.
But there's nothing anyone has to be that they've done that they have to be ashamed about if it was all part of the learning process and done without malicious intent to hurt somebody else. As long as you're not hurting yourself or other people, it's all part of the learning process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
T-Light is saying in YouTube, I need to plan a Starseed reunion. Starseed reunion. Yeah.
No.
Actually, what I've done here, at least on Siesta Key, a couple times.
This one.
I've done in 5D just beach meetups where a bunch of us get together on the beach on the 99.9% quartz crystal sand and, you know, just have meetups out there and just talk about whatever comes up in conversation, kind of like what we're doing right here, but it's on the quartz crystal sand. But this way, you know, we might not have the quartz crystal sand, but at least we're able to bring the whole world together on one format and platform, and everyone's got a voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to make sure that everyone in the room is unmuted right now. If anyone else wants to join in, you're more than welcome to.
Did you say on your broom or in the room?
In the room. Haven't learned how to ride a broom.
I've learned for centuries now.
Maybe in a past lifetime, because I do have several Wicca books on magic. But, you know, as many people know, that's just white magic, and you never use anything bad against anyone because that comes back at you 10 times. So, but I have
I
used.
just posted about that not too long ago.
Yeah, excuse me.
Especially when people post about, like, I work at a holistic shop in Peoria, Illinois. It's called Moon Dancer Boutique. And I have a lot of people who come in the store asking, like, oh, you know, I've had a hex put on me or a curse. And I'm like, palm to the face, like, no, I'm sorry. If you believe it, it shall be on you. But it's not true. Hexes and curses aren't true unless you actually believe in it. I mean.
Well, I believe that you can, yeah, there are things that people can do to harm other people.
There is. But if you're on
Tell
that same
me
frequency level.
about my crystal shop. I think the people that work there are super, like, they need help. But I go there to buy sage sometimes, but I started buying sage online because what is that? Why do they have a whole shop full of information that they don't use, and they're so nasty types of people? Like, they just are. They're just rude to people, and you can tell what they do.
Yeah, there's a crystal shop here. One's really positive, and there's another one that's a little iffy. And
I'm in Daytona, so it might be touristy, but should I not buy stuff there? Because I cleanse everything I buy there, and I know that I cleanse the crystals, and I've bought stuff there, and then I've noticed that the people are so negative, so I, like, cleansed it more. But does that mean anything where I buy it, or is it still a pure material if it's the same crystal and the same?
It shouldn't matter the frequency that where it originated from with them. It's still
Right
within the pure frequency where it came from, but it called onto you for a reason.
That's what I thought. Them touching it can't ruin it. It being in their store, that can't do anything. Because other people told me, don't go to that store. That store sucks. But I'm like, no, I think I need to keep going there because I buy stuff and their stuff doesn't get on me. And
There's an
Keep
insider.
going, it's right by my house.
There's an insider. His name is, I believe, John Todd. And he talked about all the things that they do in the music industry, of how they place curses and dark magic on records and CDs before they actually send them out to the public. There's a lot of things that are going on that we don't see on television. There's a lot of subliminal messages, curses and hexes, that there's a lot of things that are going on that do exist in this world. So I was actually in a bookstore in upstate New York, and I bought this Everyday Witch A to Z spell book. It was written by Deborah Blake, who's a high priestess in the Wicca Society, and a wonderful person. I had some people that were messing with me and my website at one point, and I did a banishing spell on them. So I will use magic if I have to. I'd prefer not to, because I know that, at some point I was actually probably, maybe something like a witch or whatever, for the good in a past life or whatever. Or I just was an alchemist, basically. I think that would be a better way of saying it, that you use concoctions and tonics and stuff like that to help and heal people. Something of a positive variety in that manner. So, and that's what got me with this book. And I love it. It's fascinating reading, but it's not something I practice every day. I don't put anything out there. I'd never hurt anyone with it, so.
You don't do anything but make a mirror, just a mirror. Multiply it back to them times 3 or times 10.
Yes.
I don't ever add any of my own anything to anybody either, unless it's for pure healing love.
Yeah. I agree.
What you got? Got putty?
So if anyone else here wants to join in, everyone's unmuted in our chat room here on Zoom. See, we have some more people that have joined in with us, but not everyone's a talker, apparently.
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
I got putty.
You have putty. I
How
love
old
putty.
are you?
4.
4.
I'm 4 also.
Wow. My daughter's 9 and she's already in bed sleeping. You're lucky. Little kids.
It's only 10
stay
or
up
9
late.
o'clock in Illinois. Yeah.
No, little kids, I know how. Little kids get to stay up late and big kids have to go to bed early for school. So you're lucky. You better enjoy it, little kid.
What's your name?
I think her mom's the lucky one. I miss being a dad. I wish my daughter was still 4 and I was still, doing all the things with her that I was doing back then.
What's your real name?
Elsa.
Not Elsa.
I'm Elsa.
Can you go grab a crystal and tell them what it is?
Yeah, pick a
No?
crystal for us,
Where's a crystal?
Elsa.
She's obsessed with Frozen right now.
Okay,
Oh, that's cool.
get a crystal for us.
Where's rose quartz? Can you get a rose or amethyst? No. You being naughty. Okay. Well, she's very smart when it comes to all this stuff. So, like you guys were talking, I don't know who was talking with you earlier about teaching children from an early age. It's quite simple when you start to teach the children early about what they're. Teaching the children about the life purpose on Earth and the passion that we have as human beings. But then once we get older, it's like a conditioning that we've converted to, and it's very hard to unconvert yourself from the realization of being alive. And I think that's where the confusion comes in. When you get older, you get that smack in the face. You're like, I hate being alive. But
Well, it's not just that, but it's also encouraging the abilities within our kids that, that these innate abilities that they have, and realizing that it's okay to have them and not to tease them, perhaps like other people might do with them.
Exactly.
It's
okay.
I think they teach us also. Isabel's the first one that told me if you hug the trees, they give stuff back to you when she was 3 years old. She
Oh.
said that, and I was like, I think you might be right. And she's the one that sparked a lot of my research trips. A lot of the things I researched, she's the one that says things out of nowhere since she was 3 or 4. And I'm like, wow, I think you might be right. Like stuff about God. And I was an atheist. I was a hating atheist because my Christian family was so mean to me. And I was like, God can't be Christian. No way. So I was like, the only other thing could be atheist. But nope. This kid told me about Buddha and everybody and God. And I was like, they're all friends. Jesus, they're all friends. Okay. And now I'm back to not being an evil atheist. That was when I was 18. I realized I can't be an atheist anymore. When I had Isabel at 18, I was like, oh, she's telling me there's like God. Maybe I was 19 by the time she first told me. But because I still didn't believe in anything when these kids were telling me stuff at 18. And I was like, oh, I'm just having magic. I'm just, I'm learning about magic. But it was the kid that taught me that there's higher beautiful powers and that there's a great goddess that's a mother and hugs us and stuff.
Isn't
Which
it
is
so
her.
funny how our kids, we are the teachers for them, but they teach us so much more.
Yeah.
Unconditional, the lesson I learned of unconditional love from my daughter is more than, there's nothing more on this planet I love more than her. That unconditional love. There's nothing wrong there's nothing she could ever do that would make me stop loving her. Just that, and knowing and feeling
Yeah.
that you have that with your family. I have that with my parents and my sisters, and but it's different. Once you have a child, it takes it to a level that you've never experienced before.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I ever would have learned any of this if I didn't have Isabel. I wouldn't have been open to anything, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Children
And I totally
are
get it for those
stars.
people that don't have children, that are here just to hold that energy and not have children and go through that process. I totally get it with them too. And I respect that. I honor it. That's, it's all cool. It
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter.
another way to go. For real. I mean, even when I was 15 and I had that one like out of body experience, I just thought it meant that I was an alien and that I was accidentally here. Me and my sister both thought we were aliens since we were kids. We were like, yeah, I told her that I got her from a flashlight, shining it up in the sky because she's younger, and that she came down the beam of light on the flashlight and she landed in a bush and my mom found her in a bush. And
Aw.
that's how she got to Earth. And she believed me because we were like kids when I told her that. But I think it was true. I think that's true. I think I did call her here because she got here second. She's younger than me.
I was
And
just
we're
going to say,
aliens.
is there any truth within that joke? Was there? Who knows? Well,
Mhm.
probably. I think so. There's a little bit more truth in there than intended.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more truth than intended in that joke.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to pretty much wrap it up at this point. We've been on for 2.5 hours. I want to thank everybody for joining me here on Zoom and on YouTube. I encourage everybody to keep coming onto this platform on Zoom and sharing your experiences with everyone, because we're all growing and learning from each experience that's shared. So
It's nice to finally meet you.
yeah, and don't be a stranger. Come on back. Come on,
I
definitely
will.
come on back and join us. And Desiree, thank you for the reading. Bye, sweetheart. Bye, sweetheart. Bye. And so until the next time, this is Gregg from in5d.com. I want to encourage everybody to check out the shirts on in5d.net if you're led to get a high energy magical shirt, and to join us on our in5d Patreon as well, where we have our private insiders group chat every first Wednesday of every month. So until the next time, this is Gregg from in5d.com, bringing Star Family together, sending you all infinite love and light. Namaste, everyone.